Gators Breakdown? Join Gators Breakdown Plus. Starting at $3 a month, get access to unique episodes, plus a blog, chat room, giveaways, shout-outs, and more. Gators Breakdown Plus is furthering the interaction with fans and listeners like you. Head to gatorsbreakdown.supportingcast.fm to join Gators Breakdown Plus today. Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
All right, there we go. Here we are, back again for another Gators Breakdown thought of the day. I am David Waters, host of Gators Breakdown podcast. You can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. And here we are, back again, doing this thought of the day. Like I said, probably won't be every day, but if there's news, quick news that I can share, and this would be just quick little blurb hit episodes, 10, 15 minutes, and we'll talk some Gator football for a little bit. So yesterday was the first one that we did, and a lot of good stuff there that we did, and talk about the follow-up to recruiting and not getting any commits. So check that one out if you haven't yet. Pretty good stuff there on that front. But this week, this thought of the day is going to come a little bit in the form of a question, but also because of some news that was out there. So I was going to hit this question soon anyway, push this one up because what we have to discuss and what come out of. So first I'll ask the question that I got here on YouTube, and then we'll go into the topic of Diwun Black. But it came from John Garland, and he asked, where on defense do you see Diwun Black playing mostly? Well, here we go. Diwun Black helped us out a little bit with that one. He tweeted on, what's today? Wednesday. So he tweeted on Tuesday night. And here we go. He goes, nickel. I like it. And then you read the tweet below that, /money, which probably means money linebacker there. So Diwun Black, we know he's going to be versatile. We know he's probably the one of the most athletic players on the team, coming in from JUCO after his great story there. Finally, him getting his time to come to Florida and play football. Did it the hard way. Had to go JUCO. Tried to figure it out. Tried to move to Florida his senior year of football. Didn't get to play football. Had to play basketball. Then ended up taking the JUCO route to get his grades up and come to the University of Florida and play football. Great story of persevering and sticking with it. And now he's in Gainesville. We were wondering, look, I've been wondering for the last few days. We've seen pictures posted by the position coaches. Christian Robinson posted a picture of the linebacker room. I didn't see Diwun Black. We saw pictures of DBs. We saw pictures of the safeties room, or not necessarily the safeties, but there were pictures where all the DBs were together, and then there was a separate one where all the cornerbacks were together. Didn't expect to see him in the cornerback with Jules Montanar and those players, Jason Marshall, Kyer Elam, Jayon Hill. We saw that picture. Jason Marshall looks huge, by the way. He looks like he doesn't look like he's a freshman. He looks like he's ready to play right now. But I was looking at all these photos. I was like, maybe there's some kind of clue we can get to where Diwun Black is going to play in these pictures. Diwun Black was nowhere to be found in those photos. But then on Tuesday night, like I said, here it is. If you're right here on YouTube, look at the tweet. Nickel, I like it. And then the next tweet below that, /money. So what does that mean? I mean, we've talked about positions here on Gators Breakdown. And it was a couple weeks ago, I believe, that I brought up Florida needs a playmaker at nickel. We haven't seen it since Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Every player who's been there so far, I mean, it's almost been the detriment, not even average or close to getting the job done. It's been a hassle. It's been a detriment to this defense to get somebody to play that nickel role. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson played it great in 2018. Went on to the NFL. He's doing pretty good in the NFL as well. Trey Dean filled in that role the very next season. It didn't work out there in 2019, and then 2020 it was just a rotating door of it didn't matter who was there. Travis Johnson got some more play as the season went on, but it didn't matter who Florida put back there. Marco Wilson, of course, got his playing time there a good bit, and we saw the disaster that was. It's just Florida hasn't had and that's the weird thing about Marco. He actually looked pretty good in that nickel role toward the end of 2019, going into 2020, and that led to Todd Grantham, calling him one of the most versatile players on the team, or on the defense at least. And from what we saw at the end of 2019, when Marco played in that nickel spot, it looked like it was going to be a pretty good fit. Didn't see that in 2020. So now we move forward to 2021. Looks like Diwun Black is going to be a huge part of that nickel role, and Florida's going to have a versatile playmaker there at that position. Try to get a playmaker there. Florida needs a playmaker at that position, a guy that can fly around, a guy that's not afraid to hit, and a guy that's afraid to play closer to the line of scrimmage. And that's where that money linebacker comes into play too. So I really like that. But the tweet, nickel/money linebacker. And you look to play those roles, and to play those roles like Diwun Black, you got to be strong, you got to be quick, you got to be explosive. 6'4", 220, I think Diwun Black is. So he's almost as big. He's as weight-wise, I believe he's right around where Ventrell Miller is, and then he's a little bit taller as well. And with that size, he's do-it-all athlete. You do not have to take him off the field. He can play nickel, and he can play linebacker in certain situations. When you want a lot of speed on the field, he's going to be playing that linebacker role. Him and Diabate together at linebacker, woo! That's a lot of speed there at linebacker. And him being already as big as Ventrell Miller, you're not really losing a lot of size. You're putting a lot of athleticism there. So I think when Ventrell Miller's on the field, you'll see Diwun Black in the nickel role. And then when Ventrell Miller comes off, Diwun Black's going to stay on the field, probably play more of a linebacker role. And that way you can move him around. He doesn't have to come off the field. Very athletic. You keep him on the field. So, look, where you're putting Diwun Black is where you want to put your best athletes. You want him in that nickel. You want him in that money linebacker spot. He's going to stay on the field, going to be versatile, quick, strong, explosive. That's what you need to be to play in these roles. Diwun Black is doing that. And look, and this has less to do when you say nickel, you say star position, you think secondary, but this has less to do with adding size in the secondary, and it's more about adding speed on that front seven, getting guys closer to the line of scrimmage that can track down players. And look, it really depends too up front. Diwun Black. We saw Ventrell Miller, we saw Mamu Diabate get ate up by opposing offensive linemen. The defensive front needs to help out, but his defensive front needs to help out, and you got a lot of speed back there behind them, like a Diwun Black and a Mamu Diabate. You're adding a lot of speed to the front seven when you got Diabate and now maybe Diwun Black up there as well. And when he's playing that linebacker role, he's got to be willing to be physical as any other linebacker on the field. So if you take Ventrell Miller off, Diwun Black's going to need to prove that he can be physical. He probably is, and that's why he's getting this role. But, built like a safety, what you're trying to do here is make where the opposing offense doesn't have as many matchup issues because of speed. Because a lot of times you see a running back line up on a linebacker, and we know Ventrell Miller, pretty good run stuffing linebacker in his own right. Still struggles in coverage a bit. And Florida's had that problem. David Reese, middle linebacker, really good run stuffer, couldn't really catch up in coverage. Ventrell Miller, a little better in the coverage department than David Reese was. But still, some defenses some offenses can improve to make that a matchup issue. You keep Diwun Black on the field, it won't be as much of an issue now with this defense. You keep him there in that money linebacker role. So the speedy running backs and the slot receivers or tight ends that can try and be mismatches. Here you go. Diwun Black's going to be on those guys. He's going to be spying a lot of those running backs, slot receivers, and tight ends. So big news here. This is what I've kind of been waiting for as far as when you want to talk about defense and where Diwun Black is going to fit in. We got our answer, and to me, it makes perfect sense. I know we thought maybe safety a little bit. Hopefully this is an indication that Trey Dean, Rashard Torrance, Mordecai McDaniel, those guys back there are getting the job done enough to where the coaching staff feels comfortable of moving Diwun Black maybe a little closer to the line of scrimmage in the linebacker nickel roles. And there's some confidence that those guys at safety are getting the job done, and he doesn't need to play back there. Some question maybe if he'd play back there. Looks like he won't. If this tweet is any indication, hopefully it is. But hopefully we can go by that and have some form of confidence now in that safety room. So I really like it. This is, I think, the best position to get Diwun Black. Keep him on the field. He doesn't have to come off the field now. And then you have him there, and it will be I'm reading the comments too. I was trying to go there. Flaw-grown Gator Travis will be at star also, right? I think so. Like I said, when we see Diwun move and play more of that money linebacker role, play more a little bit linebacker, Travis is probably going to be the guy that comes and plays star then. So you're probably looking at more of your passing situations where you get Ventrell Miller off the field, Diwun Black comes, shifts over from nickel to linebacker, and then probably Travis comes in and plays that as a star role. So, Team Hammerhead, let's go. Florida hasn't had much success with JUCO transfers. We heard season after season about Dre Massey. Absolutely, didn't even catch 10 balls. Yeah. That's true. I view this one a little bit different because this is not like a JUCO that Florida went and really got at a necessity or anything. This is a guy that they identified in recruiting early on. This guy was supposed to be in a recruiting class a couple years ago. So it's not like they're trying, they just unearthed Diwun Black or anything. This is a guy they've pretty much planned on being a Florida Gator for a couple years now. They know what he can do. They've scouted him as a high school player. This one's a little different just because the history there and the relationship that these guys have had with Diwun Black. So he doesn't have a lot of mileage on him either. He only got to play. He didn't play JUCO ball last year. Didn't have a season, so he played 1 year of JUCO ball. Did pretty well there. So this one's a little different. You're not trying to force because you have to go get a JUCO guy just to fill a hole. This was a guy that they wanted on the roster any way they could get him because of the type of athlete he is, how versatile he is, and they put him on defense. And look, he was a highly rated. A lot of JUCO guys aren't necessarily highly recruited guys either, or highly rated guys coming out of high school. And you're just kind of forced to take them because you need depth. Now, this was a near 5-star recruit. I think he was a 5-star recruit at one time. Just didn't have the grades, needed to go to JUCO, get his grades up, and now come to Florida. So, I do agree with you. The history for JUCOs in Florida hasn't been great. This one's a little different in my eyes. So, a lot of good stuff here. But as we said, Armand Jones, absolutely. Diwun Black is going to be all over the field. Tim Burrell, really good point. Mullen has a good history of JUCO guys at Mississippi State. He had to. The way he uses the transfer portal now at Florida was the way he used JUCO guys at Mississippi State. He needed to. The recruiting there we're not going to keep up with Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn, and LSU there in the West. He had to supplement that with some JUCO guys to bolster the roster, and he did it pretty good, like he's doing the transfer portal here at Florida. So, all right, good stuff there. Diwun Black, it looks like we get our answer about where Diwun Black is going to play. So, good stuff there. Hopefully, I think he's probably starting day one somewhere on that defense coming from here. He's too athletic, too versatile. Maybe held back a little bit because of the experience, but I think he's too athletic, too good of a versatile type of player where you can just stick him in a couple places that he even if he doesn't quote unquote start game one, he's going to be on the field a lot. He'll eventually be a starter. Believe me, he's going to be that good. He's going to be on the field as long as Todd Grantham and this defensive staff have their ducks in the order for him. As long as he does his part as well, that he needs to be on the field making a whole lot of plays for the Gators. So that would do it for this thought of the day. Check out yesterday's thought of the day as well as we discussed recruiting a little bit and maybe why Florida didn't get some commitments coming out of the big weekend. Another big visit weekend coming up too. Like I said, I expect in a couple weeks. A few weeks here that we'll see the flood of commitments. Guys going to enjoy the visits for right now. But check that out if you haven't yet. Check out this week's episode of Gators Breakdown. We'll see what the rest of the week holds here for the thought of the day. I'll try and get more up there. I got some questions, of course, that you guys have sent me. But one more time, if you want to talk a certain topic, send it to me. reply here if you can in the comments, or send it to gatorsbreakdown@gmail.com. gatorsbreakdown@gmail.com. Send questions, thoughts, and we'll try and do this as much as possible, but I will need your guys' help a little bit to keep the topics going, keep the topics flowing, that we can do every day if there's enough to do. So, all right, everybody check out Gators Breakdown this week, and I'll hopefully holler at you again soon.